Yeah, I think there's a couple of things they need to think about. Number one is probably what their aspiration for their innovation efforts are. And when we talk about that, we say, well, you know, are we trying to go for gradual change, or do we need significant change in what we need to innovate inside the business? And then not just thinking about, say, product innovation, because everybody thinks about that, but do we need to innovate our organisation, maybe even our business model or processes, so more than product innovation? And then think about, well, it's great to talk that we're going to support innovation, but what leadership do I need to provide to the organisation to be able to innovate well? If I don't make resources available as a leader in terms of people, money, time, etc., it doesn't matter what we talk about, it's never going to happen. So they're the kind of three things you should be talking about. What's my aspiration? Then after you work out all that is, what's our ability to be able to innovate? And, you know, recent study from PwC said, you know, 55% of CEOs think the ability to innovate effectively is what's hampering their organisation. They can't innovate effectively. It comes to a couple of things. Sometimes it might be just engagement with the executive team, broader than the individual that's joined us here today in the workshops, because we need to help spread the message a little bit about that and getting it on the agenda. So it's not something that can be put off. Being incremental and just focusing on the current business isn't enough. You've got to build the current, build the now, as we talk about, and also search for the new. So we can help them through that through short executive workshops, and it might help by reviewing their strategy and their circumstances. What are they trying to achieve? Like, what is their winning aspiration for their business overall? Because I can guarantee there'll be a gap between what they're doing and where they want to go. And we need to build capabilities for that. So our job is to help them find those few core capabilities they need to build. So that'll happen in 3 stages. 1, there'll be some quick wins because there's things that we can just do that'll also help them innovate better, but put money on the bottom line. The second thing will be we'll be able to recognise strengths or approaches that they can take over the longer term to build an innovation fortress. And the third part is there's some stuff that's probably blocking innovation happening well inside their organisation. If we don't clear those, then we're not going to go anywhere. And we can do that in a small snapshot, or we can work at it in a programmatic way over a longer period of time. Well, there's measures that we can do. I mean, we only do a diagnostic so we know what the current state is. And then we paint a future state where you want to get to. But you don't get there inside 3 months. But there's certainly stuff that you can do inside 3 months. So the things that, as I said, we tend to focus on is what are those short-term wins that can drive profit? Because if we do that, then we've got more funds to invest in the longer-term programmatic innovation that we need to do. So building leadership styles to run the current business like a well-oiled machine that continuously does innovation and executes incrementally all day, every day, is what you need. And then how do we need to build a pipeline? So we've got a pipeline of opportunities that can be coming to the innovation board or your governance, whatever you've got in approach, to say, we're going with that or we're not going with that. Or you guys need to tell me more about this opportunity. Here's some funds to go and experiment, do some tests, and I want data. I want to learn. I want to see if is this going to be accepted by the customers? You know, is there a real need? Will they pay for it? If they will pay for it, will they pay for it from us? Do we have credibility to deliver the solution? And then what's the solution look like? I'll give you money for that, but let's validate your assumptions quickly, and we can work on those things. So we should have a pipeline coming through. And all we're trying to do, remember, is for those things that we're uncertain about, let's make them certain. When we can make them certain, we can put them in a business case, and then you get big bucks inside the organisation to be able to do the development and commercialisation phases of innovation. So just having ideas isn't enough. Having a strong selection criteria aligned to your strategy is really important. The organisation will have a balanced portfolio of stuff that they're working on in the current business, and that's probably could be 80% of where they spend their innovation funds. At the moment, most organisations spend 98% just on the current business and don't do stuff for the future. And then you've got a balanced portfolio between trying to make stuff certain and exploring stuff. So having a balanced portfolio, that's certainly one. It gets embedded into their organisation as a way of working. In the same way that you go back and you say, organisations introduced a quality management system way of working and a project management way of working. Same thing with innovation as a way. So it doesn't become an event, something that we do once a year for 2 hours at the annual business conference and bring me all your best ideas and then nothing happens with them. It's a constant flow. Employees, management, external partners can be generating ideas all the time. We know how we evaluate them. We've got a process for that. And then we know what we take through to development and commercialisation because we've verified it. So that's what organisations look like. They get an innovation management system in place and they surround it with some governance. This is the spread of the portfolio. This is how much we've got to play with. This is the selection criteria. And then they put some tools and methodology in place for being able to do that. So whether it's a leadership style or whether it's personas for getting innovation done, there's certain capabilities. There'll be a few core capabilities that every organisation needs to do.